Welcome back to the Upper Tier Podcast, the football podcast that we bring you each and every week on the Dynamo Podcast Network. Head over to YouTube, smash that subscribe and bell notification button. And always, we're found on Facebook, we're on Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, wherever you pick up your podcasting, you will find us. And today we have a very special episode on the podcast today, where we're going to be looking at a very important campaign called Head in the Game, looking at mental awareness, mental health awareness. And joining me today, I have Kieran Burke. Kieran, how you doing?
Niall, great to be on. Thanks for having us.
Brilliant, not about all. And Stefan McKevitt. Stefan, how you doing?
I'm brilliant. Thanks very much, Niall, for having us on.
Not a bother at all, lads. Great to have you on. So I suppose, where do we start with this? I mean, you know, it's such a difficult subject and such a difficult topic. You know, and you guys are doing absolutely sterling work on it. I suppose, Kieran, go over to yourself there. How did the campaign all come about?
I was hoping you wouldn't go to me first, to be honest. Do you know what? It's actually probably a better question to ask Stefan, because he was one of the founding members. I'm only new enough on board, so you can come back to me later on. Stefan will give you the full info there.
Well, Stefan, tell us how it all kicked off and how it got going.
No worries. I was going to take it off you anyway, Kieran. So,
very good.
Basically, what happened was a bit of a sad story to start with. But he was the groundsman and like the heartbeat of the North Football Club. Harry Taff was his name, and he had a few family members working with the club as well. So basically, what happened was he suffered with his mental health, and unfortunately, he took his own life. So, like everyone was devastated. Nobody could get over it. It looked like he'd no place to turn. It was just a sad story in general, and just with stuff going on Twitter, messages coming through. Dean Arrowsmith, who's now in Chicago, he worked with the club as a kit man, just sent me a message basically saying, we were just talking in general, and he said, listen, there doesn't seem to be anything for anybody out there suffering with their mental health, a pathway, something like that, a connection with fans in the League of Ireland. And he said, listen, I've been talking to 3 or 4 lads, and would be interested in coming on board a campaign just to create awareness basically. And I was more than delighted to jump on board, and it just started from there. We just set up a WhatsApp group, and there was the founding members: Dean Arrowsmith, Stephen Todd, James Keown, Aidan Larkin, Sean Hand, and then myself. And we just started putting ideas out there, and a couple of weeks in, then Dean Arrowsmith come to us and said, listen lads, I wrote this poem. I don't know, like he was nearly afraid to put it out there to us, and we said, when we read it, it was just unbelievable. It's don't turn your headlights off, don't turn your floodlights off. And an idea sparked from that, just to see if we could get people involved in the League of Ireland, to say a line of the poem each, record it, send it in, and basically it took off. It literally took off on social. Like some of the names involved, like James McLean sent us in a line, Andy Reid, it's like ex-international and a current international, and Pat McGibbon played with Manchester United, Wigan Athletic, stuff like that. People that was involved with the League of Ireland, all looking to get involved, because didn't seem like there was much out there. And listen, it's just taken off from there. There's been a lot of interest, especially in the times that's in it, and it's just been brilliant. Like, it's been breathtaking. Like, everyone wanting to help us out, looking to find out more information, clubs, players, everyone just looking to get involved, help any way they can, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I find anyway with the football community is when you rally the troops for a cause, they're absolutely brilliant in assisting and helping out in any way they can. And you know, I did a little bit of research. I had a look back at Harry's story and all. It's such a very sad story, but what an outpouring from the community in terms of a man who was loved so much by his club and family and community and stuff like that. So it was a very sad story. And I like the little touch as well that I think Dundalk did on their jerseys, where they put the little H on the back of the neck and stuff like that in memory of them. Just those nice little touches and stuff like that make such a difference. And I'm sure they must give some solace to the family as well when they see those things and stuff like that, you know. So yeah, how do you find? I mean, in terms, I mean, we know in terms of our health system and in current times at the moment. I mean, we're all living on lockdown, and COVID, and all this kinds of things. So mental health is to the forefront in this at the moment. You know what I mean? And I don't think the country at the moment has even experienced the wave that's coming at them. So I mean, how have you found it in terms of reaching out to, say, you know, the HSE or places like that in terms of assistance or that kind of thing? Do they help you out in any way, or have they been helpful in any way?
Well, like we said from the start, the boys that all got involved, like none of us were professionals. Nobody knew how to deal with it the correct way to deal with somebody that's having mental health issues. So one of the first things we done was we reached out to two mental health charities, Shine and Jigsaw, and they were delighted that like we were trying to promote this thing, like it's not really been heard of, been done before, like. And uh, so we created a sort of pathway that anybody that came to us, there's been a couple of people that sent messages in. So like there's like different degrees, like someone could be just coming on having a chat, just talk to somebody different, talk about a common interest, lift someone's spirits up a little bit. And then there's the more serious elements where like people thinking about how bad life is and stuff like that, and we just created a pathway that we can direct them on, give them Shine and Jigsaw's numbers, give them contact details, so they can, because like we just made a big point that we weren't the professionals and we didn't want to be giving people wrong information, sending them down the wrong path and stuff like that. So we just made sure that we partnered up with them too, and they've been delighted that it's made it easier, like, for someone to get in contact with them.
Yeah, that's absolutely. I mean, it's brilliant that Jigsaw and Shine are on board. Like, what I mean? Because obviously these are kind of what we would call maybe the experts in dealing with these situations. And as I say to people all the time, in terms of mental health, I mean, I don't know anybody who hasn't either been directly affected by it or indirectly affected by it. I think everyone out there knows someone who struggles from time to time. You know what I mean? And it's looking for those key indicators really to cut it off at the pass and try and help out and chat and stuff like that. I mean, the amount of people that email us and even at these times saying that like the difference the podcast is making to people, it just keeps people upbeat, it fills their day. They interact with us all the time on forums and stuff like that and all. So it gives their day a bit of a purpose, if you like. But yeah, Kieran, over to you. I mean, you're saying you're fairly fresh on board with the campaign. I mean, how have you found it coming in?
Yeah, it's been brilliant. It's been very busy, I have to say, particularly last week. I'm sure a lot of people would have seen the announcement about Drogheda United renaming their stadium ahead of the game park. Unbelievable gesture from everyone involved. So there was a lot of work that went into that over the last week or so. And we've got a couple of other things in the pipeline at the minute as well. I'll not put any spoilers into the mix, but yeah, we're keeping busy anyway. I suppose how I got on board, I'm a Longford Town fan, but I'm living in Dundalk. And my girlfriend and all her family, massive Dundalk fans. So when Longford aren't playing, I go to Oriel and watch them. And so obviously I didn't know Harry personally, but I was very, very aware of the story. It was, heartbreaking. So I saw the group then rising from that, and I was always keeping an eye on what they were doing. And then I suppose just over the most recent lockdown, you'd be having chats with lads on Twitter, maybe through DMs, some of the lads that go to the football you haven't seen in a while. I'd say, how's things? And I was surprised. I probably shouldn't have been surprised, but I was. There was quite a few lads that I was chatting to, and they were like, I'm not great, to be honest. And I was like, geez, people are really struggling here. And I seen then the lads that had in the game had an application form out for anyone interested in getting on board. So threw my name into the mix. As Stefan said, like I'm the same as the rest of the lads. I wouldn't be an expert or a professional in mental health or anything, but I suppose coming from a social media kind of background and broadcasting and journalism, I thought maybe I could bring that to the table in terms of trying to promote the group a bit more and extend our reach. And we've got loads of lads there with different skill sets at the moment. So I think the group's going in the right direction. We're making really good progress, and hopefully it's going to if it makes a difference to just one person out there, then that's job done. And as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that's absolutely. I mean, even one person making a difference, it's like it's huge. You know what I mean? Because I mean, if it goes the wrong way, the effect that has on a family and an extended family for years to come is just, I mean, you can't even measure it. You know what I mean? What's your feeling, Stefan, at the moment about mental health in the country at the moment? I mean, you know, I know the government are under a lot of pressure at the moment and stuff like that. Anyway, but do we believe they're doing enough? Or I mean, I suppose that answers itself, really. You know what I mean? But
yeah. I think it's very tough on everybody from the top right down to the bottom, but there just doesn't seem to be the funds to support. So like you said earlier, the amount of people that had some sort of mental health issues, even from something small to massive. But it seems like I've heard a few different stories where people's gone to seek mental health and they're sent away because they just literally don't have the manpower to look after everyone. It's really sad. Like if you're turning somebody away that's really struggling, you know, it's a sad state of affairs to be in. Like, you know, I think it's been publicised that it's underfunded and it's, and like we just literally had to we done November just to raise a couple of quid for each of them, and we ended up getting I think it was 1,700 for a jigsaw and sign, and they were over the moon. Like this, I know it's small in the grand scheme of things, but I'm sure with every little that helps, you know. But I think the more funding they can get, the better, you know.
Yeah, well, I think no matter how small the amount is, if it goes towards helping someone out, it's, you know, it's unmeasurable, really. You know what I mean? How have you found fundraising in the last year? Because obviously, like, it's been obviously hampered in terms of being able to go out there into the public and do things like that. So I'm sure, Kieran, you've probably come on board as well, trying to find maybe creative ways in terms of doing fundraising as opposed to the normal stuff that goes on.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you have to remember there's so many different groups and organizations out there that are really struggling financially at the moment. Football clubs, sports clubs, other things like that. So everyone is trying to fundraise at the moment. And look, people love to try and help out as much as they can, but they can only go to the well so many times. So what you say there is very much true. We have to find creative ways and different ways of getting the message out there, because as much as people would love to, I'm sure, donate to a cause like this, there's other financial things going on. I'm sure people have lost their jobs. It's a really difficult time for everyone. So trying to come up with creative fundraising ideas is definitely something that I think the group will be looking at over the next while very strongly.
Yeah, it was fantastic last week to see when Drogheda did announce the naming of the stadium. I mean, the coverage that it got last week was absolutely phenomenal. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
such a fantastic gesture as well. So, I mean, I'm sure that hugely helped you. You know, I suppose, you know, I mean, I'm sure you were saying you wanted to keep some of your plans under wraps at the moment that you're working on. But what's the kind of fundraising stuff you have going on at the moment?
At the moment, to be honest, we're looking kind of more along the PR and promotional side of things, and just trying to get the message out there, because obviously with the Drogheda news, that's been a huge boost to us. I think a lot of people now, if they aren't aware, they will be aware when their team goes to Drogheda and they ask, what's the story with the name of the stadium, that they'll hear the story. So that's absolutely fantastic. But there's still a lot of people that don't know about the group. So our goal obviously is to let everyone know. Starting off, I suppose we started out as a group mainly focused on the League of Ireland, but the long-term goal, I think, for the group would be to make it more of a national thing as well. So at the moment, we're just trying to get the message out there, get the name of the group out there a bit more, but there will be fundraising coming down the line as well. But it's important to note we're not a charity as such. We are more of an advocacy group. So our goal really is just to promote positive mental health, get the message out there. And as Stefan said, we've linked up with a couple of groups already, like Shine and Jigsaw, and I'm sure there'll be more partnerships with other groups down the line as well.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm sure there'll be plenty of groups out there dying to get involved. Well, what we've done on our side of the podcast, I mean, we have a donation thing there called buymeacoffee.com/the upper tier. And any donations that's going to come into the show over the next, say, 8 weeks, if you like, we'll send those onto your GoFundMe as soon as they come in. What Thanks we also have is we have a sponsor on the show called Hogan Elite Trophy Hire, and what they do is they hire out sort of replica trophies for you know, corporate events and weddings and, you know, birthdays, christenings, all that kind of stuff. Like, so what we've agreed with them is once you get back up fundraising again, if you have an event going, we'll hit up Hogan Elite Trophy Hire and we'll sort you out with those trophies for the day or the weekend or whatever it is, and you can put them out there and raise some funds through that as well. It's always a great thing. I don't know if you've been to any of the League of Ireland matches, but when they have the trophy there, I think Celtic came over last summer or the summer before to play Bray Wanderers. I was at the thing, and the European Cup was there, and the queue was out the door, and the donations were fantastic. So it's a nice little niche idea. So we've agreed with them as well to help you out. Then once you get a fundraiser going, whatever it is, we'll hook you up with Hogan Elite Trophy. Let us know. Yeah, not a problem at all. Yeah,
thanks very much for
that. This is a big issue for everyone, I mean, and the wave of this coming, this country doesn't even realise how big this is going to get because of COVID and lockdowns and stuff like that. They have no idea what's coming yet. They don't even understand it as it is, and they're alone the impact of COVID. So what, Stefan, tell us where can we find all the information, or if people want to donate directly to yourselves, where do they go to? And, what's the point?
Yeah, like Kieran's already said, like we're not a charity, so we won't be like, if we're doing fundraisers, it'll be going towards different causes. But if anybody's looking to have a look, see what we're all about, we're on all the big social platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at the minute, and it's Head in the Game LOI. So literally just go on and have a look. They can have a look back through. They can look at Don't Turn Your Floodlights video, all the PR stuff with Drogheda United. You can have a few funny pictures of the Movember and we done as well.
I seen some of those pictures. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, so like they can just have a look. We do have like hopefully, like down the line a wee bit, we'll have big fundraisers, and hopefully everyone can get involved. Just the times that's in it, unfortunately, but we just keep going anyway, and hopefully we'll have a few more things lined up. There's one thing lined up before the league resumes anyway, so just keep an eye out for that. I think it's going to be something nice.
Yeah, well, once something big is going to hit or something like that, get back onto us again, and we'll get you back on again to promote whatever you're doing.
Yeah,
we'll try and assist throughout the whole year. If anything we can help out, get onto us. But as always, lads, it's brilliant to have you on. It's a really difficult subject. I know it's tough to tackle it. At times it's tough to talk about it, but what we'd say to people out there, if you are struggling, or you feel you're struggling, or even if you don't recognize that you're struggling, just talk to someone, pick up a phone, Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp, whatever it is, get in touch with someone and talk things out. Things are never as bad as they seem when you're entering into that kind of area. And do what you can. And of course, continue, anyone out there, continue to support the boys in the campaign. Continue to support Jigsaw and Shine in the work that they endeavour to do. They do fantastic work up and down the length and breadth of this country. As always, the League of Ireland supporting the campaign as well. Drogheda doing fantastic work with the stadium. And again, we shall have you on again soon. Thanks for coming on. Really appreciate you coming on, boys.
Thanks for the support.
No problem at all.
Greatly appreciate it.
Anytime.
Yeah, just finally to add in, like if anybody is struggling and they want to reach out, send a message to the page and we'll get a chat with them anyway. Just
Absolutely.
To keep it open.
Absolutely brilliant, Stefan. And sure, we'll leave it at that. That's as much as we can really say, isn't it? Thanks, lads.
Yeah,
thanks a million.
Thanks, man.